So in the last 5-6 videos I've been explaining this electromagnetic, energetic, lotus flower torus field, which actually is a chakra. That's the Vedic name for what I'm trying to describe. It's a chakra. So just like we have the Kala chakra, we have our own localized chakra that ethereally projects or shows us the greater Kala chakra, the greater universe, through this etheric covering. And it's not just any chakra. This Bhakanda is called Sudarshan Dweep, since it looks beautiful to the eyes of the onlookers. Being circular, it looks like the disc of the Lord. And it is attached to the cycle of time in the form of a disc presided over Bhagavan Sudarshan. So this is what I'm showing. This is our Loka, this is our localized chakra, which is in perfect sync with the Kala chakra. And it's not even in sync with it, it's an etheric scaling of that universe. So when we are viewing the universe, we are viewing the Manasatara, moon, stars and sun, but we're viewing it through the Sudarshan chakra. And Sudarshan means auspicious vision. So we're viewing the universe through the Sudarshan chakra. The Sudarshan chakra is given us an auspicious vision of the universe. And the 108 serrated edges is very important, and I'm going to get to that. Well, we obviously know there's 108 rounds we chant, 108 beads in a round, 16 syllable Maha Mantra, 16 rounds, all comes down to the numbers. So the auspicious vision, that's what Sudarshan chakra means. So it's a chakra as well, so energetic, circular, rotating, auspicious vision, also known as the ring, the circlet of God. So again, we're seeing the Kala chakra through our localized covering, this Sudarshan chakra. And this is the Sudarshan chakra. What I've been going on about is the 666 is the Sudarshan chakra. To get the 108 is 18 times 6. 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. So 18 times 6 equals 108. This is the Sudarshan chakra, the lotus flower of life. This sacred geometry is a geometric representation of the Sudarshan chakra, how the universe functions and conforms and runs and works. Sudarshan chakra also said to be as small as a tulsi leaf and as large as the universe. So these chakras can expand or retract depending where they're placed. So I believe the demigods are actually using these chakras to create the lokas. The yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's forearms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of material nature. So it's not just the arms of Vishnu that's the source, it's what's in his arms that's the source. And what's in his arms is the Sudarshan chakra, the lotus flower, and the conch, conforming to the ratio phi 1:618, 1 to 1.618. The golden ratio, which is ultimately the 108, because it's all coming from the Sudarshan chakra, which this sacred geometry is showing. So let's use this as a scale. We can actually use the Loka grid to actually work out the actual scale of how we would see the universe according to the Bhu-mandala scale, if you understand that. It's 120 million miles from Meru to Manasatara. So the diameter of Manasatara is 240 million. 240 million miles. The actual master sun circle where the Kala Chakra is actually going on at. Remember, the whole universe is based on the Kala Chakra. So let's divide that distance with our measurement of our diameter. The mainstream understanding is 7945 something. So your Siddhanta is 8,000. I actually think it's 8,090. But for math's sake, and so we don't have all these decimal points, I'm going to stick to the 8,000. So we divide the Manasatara by our own equator, giving us a 30,000 reduction. So we're at 1 to 30,000 in the scale. So if we want to understand other measurements, I'd have to get the ruler out and measure this, so I'm not going to do these. But we can do the height of the sun. We know at Manasatara it's 800,000. Let's divide it by... so we have 800,000 divided by our 30,000, giving us a... why are we doing that? 26.66666 measurement, which that is 26.6 miles to the sun. I'm going to round that up to 27 to make the maths. So we just have all these decimal points everywhere. So the sun is 27 miles away, according to the etheric scale of Bhu-mandala, as it comes through the Sudarshan Chakra. The sun is close, the sun is local, and it's been etherically presented at 27 miles up. So we can do the same for the moon. We just need to double that because the moon is the same distance it is from the sun to the earth to the sun. Sun to the moon to the earth to the sun. 54 miles to the moon. The moon is close. Anyone who's zoomed in on the moon, who's actually taken any pictures or had anything to do with the moon, it's very close. And so I'm saying it's been ethereally projected at that point, at that ratio, at this sacred scale. So when we look out into the universe, this is how we see it presented. A scaled down version of Bhu-mandala being projected through the Sudarshan Chakra. So 54 to the moon. To get, there's above the moon, there's 28 stars. That's another 1.6 million miles up. On our scale, that's 27 miles, 81. And then plus that again takes us up to Venus. Venus being the 108, which, like I've been going on about the pentagram. The pentagram is a perfect representation of the 1 to 618 ratio. The 618 giving us the 108, and it gives these perfectly divine proportions. Phi, that's where it comes from, the pentagram. The pentagram also represents man in the image of God. Add the 12 stars and you have the 12 archetypes of man, the 12 states of consciousness, the 12 types of humans, the 12 types of beings. Different mentalities and psychologies. You know, add the planets, the elements. You can build up all the organs and the nervous system, the blood system, just everything all comes down to these 12 zodiacs, 9 planets, 4 elements, all coming from the pentagram. So this is this golden divine ratio, like a lot of old buildings, a lot of new buildings, but they use 108 meters, 108 feet to give this divine proportion, this divine ratio. As you look at it, it's in a divine perspective, because they're following the ethereal scales, which is all this hexadecimal system based around the 108. The 108 in this understanding is Venus. I showed Venus in a couple of videos back, the actual geostation orbit of Venus, how it creates a 5-pointed star in the sky, which is actually rotating. So that represents Venus. 108 miles in the air. People have got to try and get the head around this, because we're taught that the stars are so far away, and actually they are simultaneously far away. They may be etherically projected at this point because that's the scale that we can see it and understand it at, but Venus is actually 3.2 million miles away according to the Bhagavatam. But we're not seeing that directly. We're seeing this scaled down etheric vision, this auspicious vision given by Sudarshan, the Sudarshan Chakra. So now I'm going to work out the pole star, which is that high from Bhu-mandala, 43 million miles above Bhu-mandala. So let's divide that by our 30,000 scale again, giving us 1440, which is the amount of minutes in a day. Obviously we have 60 seconds in a minute, we have 60 minutes in an hour, we have 12, remember from Manasatara to Meru is 120 million, we have 12 hours, double that, you have 24 hours in a day, 12 hours in a night, 24 hours in a day, 12 hours in a day, 12 hours in a night, 24 hours in the whole thing. All based on these numbers. 144. So I'm saying the pole star is 1,440 miles above Earth, above the pole star as we know it, while simultaneously being 40 million miles away, because we're seeing it through the ethereal projection. But the pole star is approximately 1,500 miles high, which actually makes sense, because once you get past the Tropic of Capricorn, you cannot see the pole star anymore. You start to lose it at the equator, even though you can see it past the equator. So that's another thing that disproves the whole globe thing. You can see it past the equator, but we're not seeing the 40 million mile away pole star the Bhagavatam's talking about, because if so, we'd be able to see that in Australia, we'd be able to see it everywhere. It'd just be obviously above us. So the pole star isn't that high. And when you understand how the Bhagavatam, the Bhu-mandala is actually 4 billion miles across, the pole star is only 40 million miles high. So that's only 1% of the whole disk, how high the pole star actually is. And this is the reason why the further you get out, you lose it. You don't see it like this. This is moving away from the North Pole, and eventually the actual pole star will just disappear because it's not that high, or the ethereal projection is not that high. The actual pole star is. But we have a covering, and it's all based on this sacred geometry. It's all based on this grid. The Sudarshan Chakra, the spinning sixes, the ratio, the 1.8 phi golden ratio, all coming from Vishnu. And it's all coming from the Sudarshan Chakra, so I'll just leave with that verse.